What's up, you guys? It's Hannah. Welcome back to my channel. Here I make videos about pretty much everything from like student life to K-dramas to books. Today we're gonna be fan casting Dial A for Aunties by sutanto. I learned that this book was gonna become a movie from Dana. Like, we had buddy read this, me, Yasmin, Dana, we buddy read this like a really long time ago, and we were fan casting it, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is totally something I can make into a video. So after a really long wait, here it is. But like, yeah, Yasmin and I were a little clueless because like we had read the audiobook and apparently like that was in like the author's note in the actual book. But I was all for fan casting, and while we started this list together, I did add some minor changes to what we decided on, and I added in some of the minor like characters. I did them by myself. If you guys haven't read the book, there are some light spoilers because it goes into what the character is like and everything. That's if you want to just like go into the book or go into the movie like completely blind, then maybe you don't want to watch this. But like, basically Dial A for Aunties is this blend of like Crazy Rich Asians and like a murder mystery comedy type thing. Meddy is the photographer for her family's like wedding planning business. It's like a wedding vendor business, really. They do it all. And on the day before like the biggest wedding that they've like ever landed, she like accidentally kills her blind date. So between like trying to pull off this wedding, hiding a dead body, and dealing with her aunts and her mom, Meddy has just got a lot on her plate. For the casting rules, I had some guidelines over like who I wanted to cast for what. One, since this book focuses on an Indo-Chinese family, I wanted to try and cast as closely to that as possible. There are like a lot of Chinese actors, but I also wanted to get some Southeast Asian actors on this list as well. And two, I didn't want to have the same exact cast as pretty much every other like Asian movie, like Crazy Rich Asians or Shang-Chi, even though I love everyone in all those movies, but there's like just so much overlap and recycling done by Hollywood. Really, I feel like this just goes to show like the lack of representation and the lack of visibility, because it was really hard to find new actors who were like prominent in Hollywood. And three, I could choose whoever I want, even if I didn't believe or don't think that they would do a Netflix movie. I think like when we were first trying to cast, we like casted models and like people who had never had any acting experience before. But without further ado, let's get into the casting. So first up, we have our main girl, meddelin, and she is a literal mess. Like, she is torn between like familial piety and like her dreams of what she actually wants to do as a photographer. So we all know she accidentally murders her blind date. When I pictured Meddy, I saw like a late 20s sort of chaotic but artsy type of person, because she is a photographer, and she gives me like the complete opposite vibes of like the popular Asian actors that I really wanted to put in the role. They were just a little too polished, and they have this I've got my shit together vibe that like really didn't fit Meddy's character. And like, I get it, it's acting, but like every time I see her, I'm just like, you have your life together. So after much discussion, Dana, Yasmin, and I agreed on casting Kathy Ang as Meddy. Kathy is Chinese Filipina. What I really like about her is that she's like sort of unknown and new to the industry. I found her from Over the Moon, where she is the voice actress of Fei Fei, who is the main character in that animated movie. I really think that this could be like her breakout role that like launches her into like the public sphere. She has a couple of other roles that are pretty prominent, but I feel like this would give her like a face to her voice and everything. It's also sort of because we went to the same high school, and obviously I just need to like give her a leading role. For Nathan, who is our hotel owner, Meddy's lost love, our rich hot college best friend, Yasmin thinks that he's like cute hot, but you know, I'll go by her standard. For all my Grey's Anatomy fans, you might recognize this guy. Alex Landy is going to be our Nathan. Alex Landy is half Korean, half Italian. He's got like this smolder. He's got a cute smile. And he has abs for days. Abs for freaking days. Most importantly, he gives off hotel owner vibes. I personally feel that Alex works perfectly for Nathan. Like, it's just chef's kiss, especially when you see him in a suit. Now, when it came to the aunties, it was a bit more of a discussion to be had because I'm not as well versed in actresses, Asian actresses of this age range, and I felt like the casting for the aunties could be like switched around a little to create like different dynamics between the four of them. But this is sort of what I've tentatively settled on. For Big Aunt, we have Wen. Big Aunt is the ringleader for all the aunties, the eldest. People follow her lead. She's authoritative. She's the baker. She makes all of the cakes for their business. And Wen was our choice for Big Aunt because when I was a kid, I used to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Wen still sort of scares the crap out of me, which I think makes her the perfect Big Aunt because, you know, like Asian aunties, they give you like that stare and you like feel it all the way down to your bones. Like Wen has that look. So she's got the piercing gaze, she's got the aura of like the secret agent who can kill you. Also with her, we have 2 Chinese actresses on the list so far. Second aunt, I put in Jennifer Tilly. Makeup is what the second aunt does for the family biz. She's super into Tai Chi, and I put Jennifer Tilly here. I think that this one is like a little more loose, like what I mentioned before. I don't really have a clear picture in my head of like what second aunt looks like, but Jennifer Tilly gives me like the Tai Chi vibes sort of, but also is really good at comedic effect. And I think that there should be some balance between like the serious and the comedic here in these aunts. I'm just gonna keep Jennifer Tilly here. I've never watched anything live action from her, but I did watch Monsters Inc. and Monster University where she voiced Celia there. Jennifer Tilly is part Chinese, Finnish, and Irish, so we have like another Chinese actress here. Third aunt is also Meddy's mom. As part of the family biz, Meddy's mom does these gorgeous, extravagant flower arrangements, and while she's great with the buds, she's not so great at setting her daughter up for a blind date. She just really wants what's best for Meddy, and like sometimes that might mean catfishing a guy accidentally and sounding extremely thirsty over text. I put Suzy Nakamura into this role. I watched her in Dead to Me, and her character there really just seemed a bit clueless, a bit naive when it came to social cues, but she was just really innocent and sweet, and that I think is what Meddy's mom is, especially considering how out of tune she is with, you know, texting lingo and everything. Suzy Nakamura is also going to be the first Japanese actress on this list. And finally, for fourth aunt, she's the diva, the drama queen. She's also the most well-versed in what all the kids are doing these days. She is the entertainment part of the business and is very well known. Like, she gets recognized by some people on the resort. So she has a big personality. And I had a couple of options for who I thought could play fourth aunt. But Dana and Yasmin thought that we should try and look for someone who could pull off like a vain character while also being comedic. So I put in Margaret Cho. Dana and Yasmin cast her as a different aunt, but I still feel that she would make like a great fourth aunt. I see her as being like loud and boisterous and colorful, and I think that also really just describes Margaret Cho in general. So with that, Margaret Cho is going to be our second Korean actor on this list. For our bride, because the wedding really is central to all of this, we have Jaclyn. She is so sweet, so pure, really just deserves so much more than the guy she's going to be marrying. Jaclyn is trusting and just really having a rough day on her wedding day. Like, literally everything that could go wrong is pretty much going wrong. For her, we put in Arden Cho. You might know her from Teen Wolf, some Wong Fu productions, or I think she was also in like Chicago Med for a couple of episodes. She is beauty, she is grace. When I mentioned her, Dana showed us a picture of her and Arden Cho, and you know, I'm a bit jelly, but Arden is literally stunning, and I feel like seeing her in like all that wedding stuff would just be like, yes, the perfect thing. It just tops it off. She's gonna be the third Korean actor on this fan cast. And then we have Maureen, who is the maid of honor. She's sort of sketchy, but has good intentions, I guess. Maureen is going to be Anna Akana. I think it's safe to say that Dana is absolutely obsessed with Anna. She is a YouTuber and an actress. She described her background as Japanese, Hawaiian, Filipino, and a bunch of other white stuff. I think it would be nice to see 2 queer Asian characters in a movie like this, and Anna Kana herself identifies as bisexual, so I think that she really is just perfect for this role. Tom Cruise Sutopo, a literal nightmare. He is spoiled, self-centered, selfish, a total groomzilla. While our group chat initially decided on Simu Liu, I found a Singaporean actor who I wanted to play this role. We know Simu from things like Kim's Convenience or Shang-Chi, but the person that I want to put into this role really hasn't found breakout success in the States yet. I actually found this guy from his audition tape for Crazy Rich Asians. So the person that I want to cast is James Saya. I don't really know how to pronounce his name. I googled it, but there's no pronunciation that I can trust. It's very Americanized. He has a bit more of a slender face, and I think that fits Tom's character just a little more accurately. I think Simu Liu just doesn't really work because he's just too much Simu. He's just too wholesome. He also reminds me a bit of my cousin, and literally in Shang-Chi he dressed a little too much like my cousin. I was like, I can't see my cousin fighting in this. So yeah, honestly I think it might just be that James has pierced ears and can rock a little bit of scruff. He also pulls off the brooding look and scowls very nicely, which works very well for Tom's character because Tom is a pain in literally everybody's booty. We have a lot of Chinese actors already, so I just wanted to give Southeast Asia a little bit more love because this is an Indo-Chinese story. Ahguan is our catfish, Meddy's blind date that she accidentally kills. He is here for the very beginning, and then it's mostly just his body, so it's really just a cameo. Dana wanted a very lovable actor to play our initial villain because it made it spicier, and the betrayal was just gonna be a little more painful, so I suggested Henry Golding. For me, he's always gonna be Nick from Crazy Rich Asians, our lovable lead. So this is definitely a step in the opposite direction. Also, Henry Golding is Malaysian, so we're really just repping Southeast Asia here. Sheriff Woody Harrelson. Okay, the audio for the sheriff who's investigating the dead body, he had this southern rural accent going on. I might be a bit delusional, but that's what I heard. I also was listening to the audiobook on 2x speed, so maybe he didn't have a southern accent and it was just pitch different because it was sped up. I'm gonna go with southern. The sheriff was just not great at his job. He did not know procedure, and really he's just the antagonist when we get to the arc of the investigation of the murder. I was thinking Woody Harrelson for the sheriff. He's got this sort of intimidating vibe, but can still pull off a zero brain cell type of character. And also Woody Harrelson is going to be our token white person in this fan cast. Now for our service staff and extras, you just gotta hear me out on this one. For the people who don't really have many lines or lines at all, I feel Netflix and the casting people should reach out to Asian booktubers and book talkers and people in the book community to have these tiny cameos. I feel it just adds a nice touch to the film and to the Asian book community. Also, people with platforms, they could also be promoting this stuff. Netflix, you heard it here first. Overall, I think we have a pretty good spread of ethnicities here. I think that there are more opportunities to highlight Southeast Asian actors and actresses in the bridal party and the groomsmen and the extended family because Indo-Chinese weddings are absolutely ginormous. So this is a great time to have casting calls for these respective roles. Comment down below who you would want to fan cast and if you agree or disagree with any of my choices. Some of these aren't really mine, so you might have to pick a fight with Dana or Yasmin. But thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Stay fresh, and I'll see you later.